Hey guys, my name is Donnie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of building a D-type from scratch. And guys, as you can remember, in the last video I got the engine started, and the only sensible thing to do now, and as the title suggests, is to make an exhaust system so that we can listen to some sweet tunes coming from this engine. And guys, making an exhaust might sound like a bit of a daunting or overwhelming task, but I've learned a couple of tricks of the trade that makes making an exhaust system at home very simple. Now every car's got its own set of challenges, and I reckon this one is gonna probably be one of the easier exhausts to make, but still the principle stays the same. So let me flip the camera around and I'm gonna show you exactly what I need to do and how I'm gonna do it. So what I need to do, guys, is make a set of exhaust pipes coming from these headers down there by the firewall, then out the side of the car, along the perimeter, and then flared out here by the rear wheels, the same as the original car. And I also need to incorporate some sort of silencer or muffler system in the exhaust to make it a little bit more bearable driving down the road. Now luckily, guys, this car did come with a set of headers, but if it didn't, I would have made them using the same principle as I do making the exhaust itself. The issue that I've got is that I, like just about everyone else working from home, do not have a pipe bender laying around, and they're quite expensive. So here's my resolve. What I do is I take some welding rods and I start shaping them and forming them in the angles and lengths and positions that my exhaust system is going to be. And then when I've finished making up the whole exhaust system using these welding rods, I take these rods to my local exhaust fabricator, and they can use this kind of as a blueprint to then cut me some lengths of exhaust pipe and then bend the angles exactly the way that I want for my car, which makes life much easier. And I also leave a little bit of access on both sides so that I can trim it down and weld it exactly into position. Now as far as the silencer / muffler system goes, I basically had two options. One is that I could buy a box that would fit there on the side of the car, and guys, I cannot find anything that looks pretty and nice sitting there on the side. They are all bulky and big and ugly looking. So the other option is something that I've done quite a couple of times before and it works really well, is that I opt to use 50mm exhaust pipes, which is about 2 inches, so nice and thick, and it looks pretty. What I do then is I take this piece of perforated round tubing and I'm going to use that as an exhaust muffler on the inside of this exhaust pipe. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm going to do that in a couple of minutes. The first thing that I need to do is I need to make a set of flanges that's going to bolt onto these headers over here so that I can then build my exhaust off of that. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to take this 10mm base plate, trace it off, cut a hole into it, and then bolt that into position. And what I need to do then is drill or cut a hole into the side of my body, and then I can start making my exhaust pipe. So without any further ado, let's start with those flanges. Alrighty guys, now I've finished making these flanges and I bolted them into position. I will be replacing these nuts and bolts, but at least now I've got something that I can start making my exhaust system off of. The next thing I must do now is cut a hole into the side of this car, being very careful not to damage the paint, and then I can start making up this exhaust pipe. Alrighty guys, time for an update. I've now finished extending these pipes all the way to the outside of the vehicle. I cut them and trimmed them a little bit and aligned them and tacked them into position and then welded it so that it would be perfectly aligned with the edge of the vehicle. And what I did then was I made up these side pipes that's going to go on the side of the vehicle, and I just finished it off and everything, and it is almost ready for me to install them or weld them onto those pipes. But the first thing I need to do now is make a sort of a silencer, and this is what I'm going to do. I've got this pipe that is perforated and I have cut it to size, and what's going to happen is I'm going to jam them inside of these pipes, making a kind of a free flow exhaust system with these perforated pipes on the inside that's going to help dampen the noise. And guys, the principle is quite simple. It's very much, or it is exactly the same as any high performance exhaust, the only difference being that these pipes are much thinner than a high performance exhaust, but at least I've got a length of pipe that I can use for my silencer. So basically, if this is a side view of the pipe, I'm going to be putting the perforated pipe on the inside, and it's going to be on the inside like that. And what's going to happen is that the exhaust fumes are going to go into the pipes and exit straight out from these perforated pipes. But the theory is that these holes will help cause turbulence on the inside of the exhaust system that's going to help dampen the noise coming out of these pipes. Now I know that it will probably cause a little bit of restriction, but that is the principle in which an exhaust works. So let's see how it works. I've done it before, but I'm also going to do a bit of an experiment to try and prove my theory when everything is done. But first, let's make up these pipes, and then we can listen to what the difference is with and without these silencers built in. Let's go. Alrighty guys, there we go. 1x exhaust system done and dusted with built-in silencers, and I also gave it a nice coat of high temperature paint. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but we'll find out soon enough. And guys, what I can do now is start it up so that we can hear what it sounds like. And let me tell you, I'm not trying to fool anybody by thinking these exhaust silencers are gonna make the engine absolutely quiet. It's just there to take the edge off, kind of like a good whiskey. So what I've done actually is I've actually off camera went ahead and built this exhaust system a first time without the silencers, and I set the camera up and did a recording, and then I made it the second time on camera with the silencers built in, so that we can kind of do a comparison to see how much of a difference these silencers makes. So what I'm going to do now is set the camera up, and then I'm going to show you a recording of this exhaust system without the built-in silencers, and then one with, so that we can hear what kind of a difference it makes. Oh, that's nice. Nice, guys, did you hear what the difference sounds like? I think it makes a hell of a difference. It's still very loud. It just takes that cracking sound out of the engine, making it a little bit smoother. Like I said, I'm still gonna be changing out those nuts and bolts. And I'm also gonna be making a cover for the front of this exhaust, but like the great Johnny Cash said, one piece at a time. But guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Not a lot left on my list of things that needs to happen. I just need to work on the cooling system a little bit and make a battery box and bleed the brakes and so on, and then we can take it for a ride, and then I can do the upholstery and we'll be done. But I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Cheers.